One customer complaint cost my store its biggest sales weekend of the year. My boss banned us from talking to customers. We could only answer their exact question. By Saturday night, our sales had collapsed. Nobody could figure out why. Except us. I worked at an electronics and appliance store. It was in a busy strip mall. We sold TVs, washers, dryers, everything. Commission mattered, but so did honesty. If a customer was about to buy the wrong thing, we told them. That's just how good salespeople work. Our manager Greg ran the floor normally. Then one customer complained to corporate. He said he felt pressured. Corporate forwarded that complaint straight to Greg. He called a meeting before we even opened. Someone complained we talk too much, he said. My co-worker Dana frowned. Talk too much, that's literally the job. Corporate doesn't see it that way, Greg said. He held up a printed memo. New rule. Effective today. Employees only answer the exact question asked. No unsolicited advice. No upselling. No extra commentary. Marcus laughed nervously. Wait, you're serious? Dead serious, Greg said. If they ask the price, you give the price. If they don't ask, you say nothing else. I raised my hand. What if someone's about to buy the wrong thing? Greg shrugged. Not our problem anymore. Customers can ask if they want help. The room went quiet. We all knew customers rarely asked the right questions. That was supposed to be our job. But the memo was clear. Anyone caught giving advice gets written up, Greg said. Nobody argued. We just nodded. The doors opened 20 minutes later. The first customer walked in around 10. She wanted a washing machine. She pointed at a large model. Does this one work for my apartment? I almost said yes, then caught myself. She hadn't asked about size, only if it worked. Yes, it works, I said. She bought it. 3 days later, she'd learn it didn't fit her doorway. That wasn't our story to tell anymore. Dana caught my eye from across the floor. This already feels wrong, she whispered. Tell me about it. We didn't know how much worse it would get. A man came in looking for a laptop. He picked the most expensive gaming model. Normally, I'd ask about his actual needs. Word processing. Browsing. Maybe email. This laptop was built for hardcore gaming. Total overkill for him. But he never asked if it fit his needs. He only asked the price. It's $1,200, I said. He bought it without another word. Marcus saw the whole thing and shook his head. He's gonna return that in a week. Probably. And it's not our fault, right? According to Greg, no. By lunchtime, 3 customers had bought the wrong products. Nobody asked the right questions. Nobody got the right answers. Because nobody was allowed to give them. A teenager bought a tiny mini fridge. It was for his college dorm. It barely fit a few cans of soda. He'd mentioned needing space for groceries. That wasn't a question, so I said nothing. Greg walked the floor, smiling. See, smooth and simple. Customers are getting exactly what they ask for. None of us said a word. We just kept following the policy exactly. That Friday, returns started trickling in. The washing machine lady came back furious. It doesn't fit through my doorway, she said. Why didn't anyone tell me? I stayed calm. You only asked if it worked. It does work. She stared at me like I'd lost my mind. That's not what I meant. I understand. But that's exactly what you asked. She demanded a refund. Corporate approved it? Greg pulled me aside afterward. Could you have mentioned the size? You told us not to offer extra information, I said. He paused. I meant unnecessary information. I wasn't sure that counted as unnecessary. He had no response. He just walked away. That should have been a warning sign. Instead, Saturday arrived. Our biggest sale day of the year. The store was packed by 9. A man walked in wanting a home theater system. His budget was around $3,000. He pointed at a high-end surround system. It needed a separate receiver. He didn't have one. Without it, the whole system was useless. Normally, I'd have mentioned it immediately. But he never asked about compatibility. He only asked if everything he needed was included. Technically, the box had everything advertised. Just not everything he actually needed. Yes, that's everything in the box, I said. He smiled and grabbed it. $3,000, gone in 5 minutes. Dana watched the whole thing happen. He has no idea what he just bought. I know. Should we say something? Greg would write us up. She sighed, and we went back to work. 2 hours later, he returned, furious. This doesn't even work without a receiver. That's correct, sir. Why didn't anyone tell me before I bought it? You asked if everything was included. It was. That's insane. You're supposed to help customers. Greg overheard everything from across the store. He rushed over, trying to calm things down. The customer demanded a full refund. Then he posted about it online. He did it before he even left the parking lot. By Sunday morning, corporate had seen the review. By Monday, our district manager scheduled a visit. Greg looked nervous all morning. The district manager arrived around 10. He pulled the weekend sales reports. Returns were up. Big purchases were down. Reviews were brutal. What happened this weekend? He asked Greg directly. Greg hesitated. We followed corporate's new policy. What policy? Only answer the exact question. No advice. The district manager frowned. I never approved blocking basic guidance. The original complaint just mentioned feeling pressured. That's not the same as banning helpful information. The room went silent. He turned to me. Did employees actually follow this rule exactly? Yes. Every single time. Even when it clearly hurt the sale, especially then. He looked through the return reports again. Page after page of preventable mistakes. Wrong-sized appliances. Incompatible electronics. Furious customers. He checked the financial summary. He stared at it for a long moment. We lost almost $6,000 this weekend. This isn't an employee problem, he finally said. This is a policy problem. Greg tried to explain himself. But the numbers spoke louder. The wasted commissions. The damaged reviews. The lost trust. Effective immediately, this rule is reversed, the district manager said. Employees should answer questions completely, not just literally. Greg nodded slowly, clearly embarrassed. By that afternoon, things felt normal again. A customer asked about a TV size for his living room. I asked his room dimensions without hesitation. He thanked me, genuinely surprised. Sales picked back up within days. Returns dropped just as fast. Greg never mentioned the policy again. Whenever new staff started, the old employees joked quietly. Just don't follow instructions too literally. Because we'd learned something corporate never expected. Sometimes the most damaging thing isn't bad advice. It's no advice at all.